Well, let's let everybody grab their coffee. There we go. Here we go. Got that going. Everybody's going. Good deal. Oh, man. It's Tuesday, and yesterday was action-packed. So thank you for joining me for Morning Coffee Live with Dave. I'm Dave, and it is March this year. Archie Yates, good morning. Apache Kid, good morning. Hey, man, how's it going? Thank you. Just letting everybody get caught up this morning and get their coffee going. Jason, good morning. Jason's dog's off to the groomer for sure. How's it going on Tuesday so far? Put on the game. I like that. Right. My dad just gave me a spanking for not getting up on time. Oh, man, you're a character. Well, it was nice and hot here in Texas yesterday. I think it's going to be about 91, 92 again today. They're saying we might have a cold front. Mike Dryback, how's it going this morning? Good morning. Jeff, Barcy, Lee, Freeland 03. I like that. All right. Oh, just that's a funny way to start off the day. Is like, hey, my dad gave me a spanking for not getting up on time. I'm sure you're probably older than that. Chris, good morning. Hey, man, how's it going this morning? It's Tuesday, Chronic 19. I thought that was pretty funny. Thanks for getting Tuesday morning off with a laugh. Good morning. Good, yeah. It's not too windy outside. The last few mornings have been kind of windy, but not today. So I'm not real sure. Tuesdays, Tuesdays for me has always been one of those days. It's the day that you, kind of really get into any project you got going for the week. Cesar, good morning. Thanks for joining this morning. Bronny McIntyre, how's it going, buddy? Lord Scone just joined. Hey, thank you for liking the live. It's nuts this morning. It's what I always call Taco Tuesday. I love having Taco Tuesday's been around a long time. It's when a lot of restaurants on Tuesdays is kind of their slow. Ash, thanks for the follow, man. I appreciate it. Ken Woods just jumped in there. Appreciate it, everybody. If you are new here, let me know where you're from. Virginia Stone just joined. Thank you. And one of my big supporters, Nicole, just jumped in online. Hey, good morning, Nicole. How you doing? So I hope everybody was thinking about yesterday, about letting people know that if, they normally start their mornings alone, that's not necessary, that they can come join us and have coffee and become part of our morning coffee talk group. Paul McCubbin, hey, how's it going this morning? Thank you for the follow, Eugene. I appreciate that. So, here, a big day here in Austin. The VP is going to be in town for the next couple of days. How's YouTube? YouTube's fine. Natasha just jumped in. Good morning, all the way from Maine. Natasha, how cold is it in Maine this morning? It's funny. Up there, it's probably, if I had to guess, I'd say 20s, 30s. Eric just joined. Hey, man, how's that going? And it's like in the 90s here. LA Pipeliner, hey, how's it going? Niall just joined. No, not me. I can give you some ladder tutorials. Stay off of them if possible. The one piece of equipment I think I've probably hurt myself on more is falling off of a ladder, or a ladder given away or something like that. And as far as electrical advice, don't put your foot in the bucket of water and while you're working on electrical. That would probably be my only advice. 30 degrees and freezing in Maine. Hobbs Groove. I don't know. To me, being the vice president is probably kind of a tough job. You are constant. Somebody else, the president does something, and you're probably spending a lot of your time trying to explain or defend some of the decisions they make. I don't know. Yeah, no, it wasn't me. Maybe it was my twin. They say everybody has a twin, whether you know it or not. Eugene Lucas is in upstate New York, and it's 19 degrees. Oh man. Sean just drove by. Hey man, Nana just joined. Always like Nana. What? Sure, a vice president's a hard job. Not that guy. So I'm guessing Hobbs Groove, you don't like JD Vance. I kind of like him. I think he's he leans more to he's conservative, but he's not so flamboyant and doesn't make crazy statements and stuff like sometimes Trump does. That's funny. Bobo, Kimberly joined. Hey guys, over here on YouTube and TikTok, if you're new here and you haven't subscribed or followed, please go do that real quick for me. It really helps the channel. We're on track. We're trying to get to 10K. And so that's one of the things that you can do for free. It doesn't cost anything. And it really helps out. I really appreciate that if you could do that sometime today. Also, make sure that you're sharing this out with your friends. So if you know anybody else that gets up early in the morning and they would like to join, definitely point them in this direction. Biggie Fry just joined. How about that? There you go. There's some hearts. That's exactly what I like to see. Casey Wilson, baby just joined. Furby joined. Debbie C joined. He speaks. I don't know. I'm pretty frustrated with politics at every level. I really wonder where we're at in this country, and that everybody seems to have their own agenda. All right, so let me ask you a quick question. Of course, being in Texas and close to South Texas, I always call Tuesday Taco Tuesday, and the reason is because a lot of restaurants in this part of the country on Tuesday they have taco specials, breakfast taco specials, lunch taco specials. So anyway, Tanner, how's it going, man? Good morning. So tell me in the comments if you like tacos, breakfast tacos, beef tacos. Of course, I think everybody likes fajita, but I love tacos. Fry you up some fresh homemade corn tortillas, make you some taco shells, lettuce, tomato, beef, or chicken if you like chicken. I like both. Timbo Slice, hey man, what's up? Good morning, Mako. How's it going? Lost River barbecue. Oh man, I could eat barbecue probably 2 or 3 times a week. I really like barbecue. I like barbecue sausage. I like brisket, ribs, pulled pork. Soft shell steak tacos. Eugene, okay. Yeah. I can go for that too. It's so like when you say soft shell steak tacos, are you talking about like beef fajita tacos? Some homemade flour tortillas? Or store bought. Some of the store boughts are okay too. I like that. So what's up? Anybody got anything? What's on your mind on Tuesday? I have to always ask this because for me, yeah, there you go. Gotta love them tacos. I like breakfast tacos. It's really hard for me. I could probably eat breakfast tacos every morning. I'm a real breakfast person, even though I don't eat breakfast, because I found that if I skip breakfast, then I'm on track to skip lunch too, usually. But if I get up and I eat breakfast, by 12:30, 1 o'clock, I want to eat lunch. And then, it's kind of like it starts a pattern with me. You eat in the morning, then at lunchtime you want to eat again, and then at supper time, and you end up eating 3 meals a day. And when you get to be my age, eating 3 meals a day is probably not that great for you. It's surely not good for your waistline. My biggest, I don't know what everyone's, everybody has a weakness. My biggest weakness is I like sweets. And when I say sweets, I don't mean necessarily candy, but I grew up in our family. It just seemed like that we always had some type of dessert as part of the meal. Like, we'd eat supper, and we'd have something. My mother would have cookies made, or a pie, or a cake, muffins, something, always something. And so I think that's what kind of got me where that's my biggest downfall is I like to have something. I'm probably the biggest cookie eater. I could eat cookies pretty much, just graze on them throughout the day. So what I find for me, what works for me doesn't necessarily work for everybody else, but is to try to skip and not eat in the morning or at lunch. And if I do get really hungry, I might eat an apple or something. John Doe, good morning. Steve, good morning. Hello, everybody. Why is JD Vance going to Hungary to support President? What is a supporter of Vladimir Putin? Anything about this said it's been... Yeah, I don't know, Hobbs Groove. I haven't really kept up with JD Vance and his stuff and what he's doing. You know, a lot of times you don't really know what a VP really stands for until they, unless they decide to run for president themselves. So I don't know. My kryptonite is apple pie. Oh man, I'm with you there. Apple pie and some vanilla bluebell ice cream. Man, that is pretty good. I like this is garage talk, not political talk. Yeah, that's true. Unfortunately, we get a little political talk jump in there too sometimes. My kryptonite, yeah, for sure. I trust your government, yeah. That's funny. You know, it's funny because I'm sitting here in the new office, and I came out here this morning. I thought, what are we going to talk about? You ever just have those days when you wake up and you're just kind of blank? And I was like, I'll have to depend on the group this morning and ask you, what's going on where you're at. Of course, I did see this yesterday, and and yes, this is shop talk, but goes back to government talk. Is that the gas prices went down like 12 cents a gallon here. And I think, and I didn't really know why at the time, but I was glad since I had to buy, $60, $70 worth of gas to fill up the truck. And I couldn't figure out why. Usually you don't see gas prices drop 12 cents a gallon. They go up, 75 cents a gallon, and they come down 2 or 3 cents a gallon at a time. That you don't see a big drop like that normally. And so anyway, the reason is because now they're saying they're going to have some kind of talk. I really would like to see this Iran war conflict come to an end, but I don't have a lot of confidence in how that or to think that that's going to end in the next 5 days. So anyway, hey, I want to show everybody I think I showed you yesterday, but hang on just a second. Let me grab something. A little show and tell. So I can't remember if I showed this here. I'm pretty sure I did. This is a 1/2-inch impact that I got off of the TikTok shop, so everybody see it. Pretty nice, nice, good rubber grip. It's a brushless, cordless tool. This is my battery. That you can buy this tool as just the tool, especially if you already have Milwaukee batteries or Milwaukee. I think this is a Milwaukee replacement battery. They work too. And the price on these things, wow. You can't probably even think about getting a brushless tool for what these are selling for right now. But here's the neat part. So you see it's normally a 1/2-inch impact, but check this out. It's got a LED light ring when you pull the trigger. So you can run your 1/2-inch drive impact sockets off of it. So if you need to change a tire or something like that, you can use that. It's got 650 foot-pounds of torque. So plenty of torque to do that with. But then if you see, it has a mode button on it. So you can kind of turn down the speed. So you can go from fast to medium to slow. and that just basically adjusts the speed of it. But it accepts 1/4 inch drive bits because you see it has a hole right in the end of the anvil here. See that? See how it's got that hole? And so you could use it as a driver. Insert, screws, different bits. You can even, because they make a 1/4 inch drive to a 3/8 socket adapter. So you could actually run 3/8 sockets and even down to 1/4 inch sockets off this. I don't know if I'd run 1/4 inch sockets off of it. Just that it's a pretty versatile tool, and I think it was a great idea. Whoever designed this one, that you're getting more than one tool. A lot of times people avoid buying these 1/2 inch impact drivers unless they use them a lot. But sometimes when you're using a 1/4 inch bit, and maybe you've got like a 3.5 or 4 inch screw that you're trying to drive, something with a little more oomph behind it can make the job faster and easier. So anyway, I thought that was a pretty good tool, and I have a new one that just came in late yesterday that I think is going to be similar to this, but it's got a few more items that came with it. This was just the tool that came. This is my battery, but it's definitely, and I don't remember the exact price, but right now they have free shipping on them. And I'm going to make a video later today. So I always forget I need to hold that up so people on TikTok can see that. So anyway, if you're looking for something like that, and you kind of like, maybe you have a limited space in your toolbox, this might be the tool to have, because you could use it as 1/2 inch, 3/8, 1/4 with the right adapters, and then you can also use it for driving screws. And this, you can use a Phillips head screw bit. This one just comes out. This is for like driving deck screws and stuff. So it has the little star tool in the end of it, which seems to be really popular with hardware these days. But check it out. Not a bad deal. And I can't remember the exact price. I wished I'd looked it up this morning, but I didn't. But I can tell you, if you were buying one of these in a big box store, you could probably buy 2 or 3 of these for the same price. So yeah, if you got limited space in your toolbox, this might be the one you want to take with you, because it is versatile and you can use it for 1/2 inch, 3/8, 1/4, with these 1/4 inch drive adapters, and you can use it as just a normal driver. Anyway, and like I said, I really liked the feature of the LED light ring around it. So if it was at night, say you had this in your toolbox and you had a flat and it was night and you're on the side of the road, and you were lucky enough that you remembered this and had a battery with it, and you could just pop your 1/2 inch drive socket on and get your tire changed. Having that LED light might be pretty handy. So anyway, I wanted to show you that tool this morning. Always like to do that. And then because I am affiliate with TikTok and Amazon and YouTube. What does this say? Smuggy Smuggerson does bro work for TeamU? No, I don't work for TeamU. I don't know. I've never really bought anything off of there. For some reason, I just I don't get a warm and fuzzy. I mean, I know people who bought stuff from them, but I usually buy stuff from either TikTok or the Big A. That's the first twist I've ever had. Thank you. That was very kind of you, Mako. Good morning, Ed. How are you doing? Thanks for joining us. I'm here. Time to make breakfast. Has everybody had breakfast this morning? Like I said, I'm not normally a breakfast eater. Some people, I could become a breakfast eater really quick because I like breakfast. It's probably one of my favorite meals of the day. And a lot of times I'll have breakfast for supper. Anybody ever do that? Like to have breakfast for supper? I do. Probably more than than my family. I just like breakfast. It's one of my favorite meals to fix, and it's it can be really healthy too. You have a lot of protein with eggs and bacon and sausage and all that good stuff. And then you could throw in a pan of homemade biscuits, a little gravy, some coffee. Make you hungry this morning, doesn't it? Oh, I find that comical. Everybody's on the live. It's 6:30 in the morning. They're thinking, "Oh my God, I'm barely awake." Having a little coffee, and now we're talking about eating breakfast. So I have to ask, how was Motivation Monday? Were you motivated to go do something yesterday to get the week started? Because Monday's always kind of a tough day. You've had the weekend. Maybe you were really busy. I missed my Meemaw's homemade buttermilk breakfast. I tell you, I found of course, not everybody likes to cook. I kind of like to cook, but I found a homemade biscuit recipe on TikTok, and it's super easy. That's for guys, it's got to be easy. Or if maybe you don't normally cook, you should try this. If you have, of course, I have a couple of cast iron pans. One I purchased recently at an antique mall. That friend of mine's antique mall. I saw some stuff. I've kind of done some research about cast iron and what are valuable and what are not valuable. There's a lot of cast iron that you see now that was made in China or Mexico. And there's nothing wrong with that cast iron. It's just not considered valuable. So if you're ever looking for cast iron or you stumble across some cast iron and you're considering purchasing it for yourself, look for something that says Lodge. There's like 2 or 3 companies that made cast iron in the United States, and most of those so there's 2 things you want to make sure. If you're buying like a frying pan, which is pretty common, you want to make sure it's flat when you set it down on a flat surface and that it doesn't wobble, doesn't have any big chips out of it. It can be rusty. That's not a problem because that's easily resolved, but you want to look on the back and see if it has any stamps on it. Anything that says made in the USA, the name of the company. Like I said, there's 2 or 3 companies that made cast iron in the United States. And that cast iron, if it doesn't have anything stamped on the back of it, the value goes down. But if it does have the company name, a lot of times a friend of mine ran across a piece that was made in the United States. And it was the year that it was made was actually stamped in the back of the cast iron. It was in the 1800s is when that cast iron pan was made. So, I have a couple of them, and of course, I like to cook steak in them because I think cooking steak in a cast iron skillet is probably some of the best steak that you'll eat, better than on a griddle. And the other thing you use them for is I like to bake biscuits in them. I don't tell me why, but if you biscuits in a cast iron pan that you slid into the oven, and they just seem to rise better. They have a little better taste to them. But anyway, I found a recipe that is like super easy. And it's 3 ingredients. It's self-rising flour, and then two, depending on how many cups of flour, but let's say you did 2 cups of flour, then you'll use a couple of egg size scoops of Crisco and a cup of buttermilk. And that's it. Super simple. You know, mix in the Crisco first so that you got a bunch of little crumbles, kind of make, you know, get it mixed in with the flour really well. Add a cup of buttermilk, and the buttermilk you can add a little more if you need it, if the dough's still a little dry, but you don't want it real wet. You just want it where it'll form a ball, and then roll it out and fold it over a couple of times because that's what gives it the flake and rise. And then get you a good biscuit cutter and cut them out, put them in a cast iron skillet at about 500 degrees for 12 minutes and pull those bad boys out, and you have homemade biscuits. Brush them with a little butter, melted butter on the top. You make that for the fam, I guarantee you'll be a hero. I know the first time I made them and they came out, they were like, "Where'd these come from?" I said, "I made them today," and yeah, so I was already getting requests for homemade biscuits now. But that's a quick, easy one. You're making me hungry. Good morning, Philip. How you doing, buddy? I like that. Nothing beats cast iron cooking. I agree. I just, you know, you get a cast iron pan, you take care of it. Don't let it rust. Then, you know, that's why I think they don't make really cast iron, or they don't push cast iron anymore, is because if you get a good seasoned cast iron pan, it'll last you a lifetime. It really will. And so that's not probably very good for the manufacturers that want to sell you, you know, a whole set that won't last you 3 or 4 months before you need to get rid of them. And then, you know, have to keep buying them. She wrote a recipe down for me before she died. Can't make them taste the same though. Yeah, you know, I kind of agree with you. My grandmother made like some homemade dinner rolls, and I have attempted to follow her recipe multiple times, and they never ever come out the same. They don't come out the same when I make them. You know, like one time they'll be a little more fluffy, and then the next time they're not quite as fluffy. They're a little more packed. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but it's a pretty old recipe, and I can barely read. I've rewritten it a couple of times, and you know, I hope I didn't miss something, but maybe I did. But I never have been able to make them taste like she did. I remember when I was a little kid in the summertime, she'd make those for dinner, and you know, it'd be in the afternoon. She'd take one right out of the pan when it came out of the oven, and put some butter and a little sugar in it, and we'd sit on the back porch step just outside the screen door and get to eat one of those. So yeah, memory of when I was a kid. Dragonisky, 1975 Z28 Camaro. Does that do anything for you? Also 74-door Bel Air. Yeah. 1975 Z28. Yeah. You know, when I was a kid, there was only like 1 or 2 kids where I went to school. Their parents had money, and I remember one of them had a Z28 Camaro, good muscle car. There were some nice cars back in the 70s, and I started making Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuits. Really, for hamburger buns? Because you're gluten intolerant, and they sell. Huh. I would have never thought about that, Rocklick. Huh. I bet that's probably pretty good. What is this? Somebody said Robert Sunberger 6874. Do you have a motorcycle I buy? I don't think so. No motorcycles for sale here. You know, I think everybody's ridden, well, maybe not, some type of a motorcycle, a dirt bike, or something when you were growing up. It's like telling when he wrecked his brother's Manza. Yeah, no. I think the worst thing that ever happened to my vehicle when I was in high school, my youngest sister thought she would take my truck somewhere. I don't know where she took it. I don't remember. I just remember wherever she took it, she drug the tailpipe and muffler off of it, and I was pretty hot. And so that was probably the first and last time she ever drove my truck, and she drove it without my permission because I wasn't there when it happened. But when I got back, I wasn't too happy. I agree, Nicole. I think there's just a lot of things that you can cook in cast iron. I like frying eggs in a cast iron too. I think they do really well. People, oh, eggs, really? They don't stick? No, they don't. So there's all kinds of stuff that's great about that. What was that high school story? Tell them here. Yeah, OMG. Yeah, if you have so that's a good one there, Mako. If you do have a high school story, let's hear it. Anything exciting or something you remember about when you were in high school? One of the favorite things, of course, I was in high school, and I was an athlete. So, but I can remember in my younger days, when I was like maybe in junior high, the big thing was to get to go to the high school football game on Friday nights. All the kids were there. It was a real social thing. And so I don't know if you lived in an area or grew up, and maybe you were a football fanatic or not a football fanatic. Friday nights at the football games was always a really fun time for me. Got a lot of good memories there. Made a lot of good friends, some that I still keep up with today. We all need to come eat with you. I have some leftover brisket that I barbecued over the weekend, and I'm going to make some chopped beef sandwiches for lunch today. Requested by my granddaughters. They're not normally home for lunch, but they have some special training early this morning, and so they're gonna swing by for lunch and pick up a chopped beef sandwich for lunch for them. So that's on my agenda to do later today, is get that ready. Hey guys, if you are new here, the one thing that's free today is you can like, share, and subscribe or follow. We're trying to get to 10K. So if you would do that for me, I really appreciate it, and it helps me get further down the road. The other thing I want to tell you about is, and I mentioned it some yesterday, I don't know if anybody does Facebook or not anymore, but Dave's Shop I've had a Facebook page for that for quite some time, and I created a special group just for Morning Coffee Talk Live guests and people who join us. If you'd like, go over to Dave's Shop on Facebook and join that group. I post some stuff that maybe we don't discuss, or I further discuss there sometimes when we get cut off at the end of the live of the day. So there's always some stuff posted there, and if you're interested, again, that's free. Go over there and join that group. And I'm not very prepared with it today because I was going to send out a link for it. So I'll get that put together so that I can send you a link. But if you'd like to do that, and it's a place where you can, comment, put comments, make suggestions about what we're going to talk about during the live and all of that fun stuff. I ran my 8610. Yeah, that what's this? 450 can, four-wheeler. Yeah, four-wheelers. I had a friend's brother that, yeah, four-wheelers kind of scare me. Well, back then it was three-wheelers, and they were pretty dang dangerous. They're fun to ride, but they're really dangerous. And I had a friend's little brother that got killed on one of those things. It turned over on him, and his brother died from it. So, yeah, I've always kind of stayed off of those. Now the mules that you see people drive now, where it's kind of like a big oversized golf cart. I like to drive those. Those are pretty fun out in the field. If you're at the deer lease or something like that, then those are. But the three-wheelers, and I'm not even sure they make three-wheelers anymore. Pretty much all of them now have four-wheelers, but even those four-wheelers can be really dangerous. So if you have one or you like riding them, be careful on them for sure. I'll stick a four off the road. Yeah, four legs off the road. Yeah, for sure. Dogman 247 joined. Hey man, how's it going? That's great. Was your career related to your YouTube niche? I would say yes and no. I worked in IT. The last company I worked for, the last 16, 17 years, I worked for Marriott International. Hey, Kim, good morning. And I handled all the IT work in the Southwest United States, from East Coast to West Coast. And we handled all the equipment and software and managed some servers. So, that was kind of where I was at. But I've done a lot of different work over my lifetime, and that was just one section. And if you would have asked me in my early days, would I have ever been doing IT type work, the answer would have been no. But I had somebody, I've been in business for myself before. I was in the coffee business for a long time. I've done some construction, I worked for the state of Texas in the prison system for a while as a prison guard. So, done all kinds of different stuff throughout my life. Worked for Coca-Cola as a salesperson, and drove a truck. So, I don't know too many people that have only done one thing most of their life. I think in this day and time, you have to be flexible, and you have to, go wherever the direction takes you. A lot of times for me, I don't think I ever got laid off from a job until I was in my mid 40s. The first time I got laid off, and it really wasn't a layoff. The guy that I was in the coffee business, and the guy that owned the company, he sold it. And the company that bought us initially, was like, hey, we're not letting anybody go. The ownership's changing. And well, we all know that if you haven't ever heard that story before, that's probably not totally true. There's very few times one company buys another and somebody doesn't get let go. And in this case, it was another coffee company that bought us. They kept management and people in place for about 6 months, but once the transition part of it had been done, they came in and they let everybody go because they had their own management, and they didn't need 2 sales managers for the South region. So that was the first time I got let go and laid off from a job. Yeah. And so, I always of course, it's always devastating when you lose your job. And I was thinking about Leah. she works, Casey's wife, who just got laid off from her job. A lot of times people, when your job's kind of your, that's what you do. That's part of your makeup. And a lot of people think when they do a job for, maybe 5 years, 10 years, and it's a specific kind of work that they do, that if they get laid off, that they can't do anything else. They can't do any kind of a different job. And that's not true. I think a lot of times when you've had different jobs, you can take pieces of each one of those jobs, and that's who makes kind of who you are. And you can apply those things to a totally different job in a total different field. And in my case, I was when all of that happened, and how I got into IT is I'd had my own business with a partner. That partnership broke up, and it was really ugly. And so I was doing some contract work. At the time, I was 50, and the economy wasn't great. So I, built houses for a little while, got laid off there. I think in a 5-year period, I got laid off 4 times. So it really made me begin to question, was there something wrong with me instead of just a string of bad luck? I don't know. But yeah, in 5 years, I got laid off from 4 different jobs. And finally, I was doing contract work for myself because I felt like, maybe that was where I needed to go, so that I wasn't so dependent on somebody, not laying me off. And I needed health insurance, and actually wasn't even looking, but I guess I had put enough resumes out online that a company called and offered me a job. And, I went from making 6 figures to getting paid $9 an hour. And people go, my God, why would you take a job making $9 an hour? Well, I needed health insurance. And so that was my way of getting health insurance. I was able to work from home, which was, I'd never worked from home before. So I could continue doing the contract type. I was a mortgage inspector, and I would inspect properties for mortgage companies. And so I was doing that, and that at the time was paying pretty good money. So I didn't really want to give that up. I just needed some health insurance. So I went to work for them, and, one thing turned into another, and I was thinking I'd be there a few months, and then, something would happen. I looked up, and it had been a year and a half, and, the company was growing, and they needed some help in the IT department. Nothing technical, just, needed somebody to do the manual labor. So that's where I started working on that part of it. And, the guy that was running the department, it just kind of expanded, and my job moved into IT. And that's where I spent the last 16 years. But yeah, the thing about IT, it's really difficult to get into that profession. And it really takes somebody who's already in the profession, especially for me, because I didn't have any formal education. What I knew about IT was just all self-taught. And of course, I had a ton to learn, and I did learn a lot over the last 16 years. So, if somebody's giving you, somebody gives you an opportunity like that, and you've had a lot of different experiences in different types of jobs, I think you can put that together and take it with you. And if you get laid off, initially you got that shock of like, how am I going to pay the bills, the rent, buy groceries, take care of my family? But when you get past that, somewhat, I always thought a good attitude was to have, this is an opportunity for me to go do something maybe that you always wanted to do but didn't think you could do. So doesn't always work out that way. Fortunately, through some hard work and several years of not getting paid very much, it turned out to be okay. And then, and now that's ended. So this is what I do. You have a great day. Ready for the kiddos to come back on Thursday? Yeah. So Nicole, does that mean that where you're at, the spring break's over and the kids come back to school this Thursday? I'm guessing that's the case. So hopefully that answered your question. If y'all are thinking about Leah like I have, she's down in the Beaumont area. So, if any of you know anybody in that part of the country, definitely, point him in her direction, or you can point him in my direction, and I'll get it down to her. Or if you need her contact information, I can help you out with that too. But yeah, so I'm just praying that she, is able to find a new job. I know she will. She's got a great personality. She's a super hard worker. I don't know exactly. She worked in one of the chemical plants that are down along the coast. So I'm not sure exactly what she did for them, but anyway. So she's probably got some contacts in that part of the country. So let's just hope she's able to find her a new place to go to work. It's always a tough thing to deal with, but maybe sometimes it turns out better. You never know. And Jason can tell you firsthand, it's pretty stressful. But you just got to get out there and keep knocking on doors, and eventually somebody sees your value and picks you up. And so luckily Jason was able to finally get that done. But he'd been through a lot of interviews since last October. So he's starting the second week of his new job and seems to be liking it. And so it's turned out really good for him. So yeah, how about that? I think that's a good thing. Let's see what else. Anybody else got anything going? Just so everybody knows, and I think I mentioned it last week. Our weekly Bible study on Thursdays has been. We're stopping that temporarily through the Easter holiday and stuff, and we'll pick that back up. I believe it's going to be the first week of June, and then we'll be back in Ed's garage. So he's doing a make ready now, so that when we pick that up on Thursday nights, the first week of June, we'll be back in doing Bible study on Thursday nights. But anyway. Oh, let's see what else. Anything exciting happening? I was thinking about that yesterday. I think the only thing exciting really happened to me is I've got a granddaughter that's down sick with strep throat, and that's always not a fun thing to deal with. Luckily, I don't have any tonsils. Not that you can't get strep throat if you don't have tonsils, but I don't have any, and so. I'm not susceptible to it as much as someone that still has their tonsils. June Thursdays through the summer in my garage. If he wants to donate signs, yeah, signs for sure. So we can, if you want to donate signs for the garage for Ed's summer Bible study, hey, send them on. Reach out to Ed. He'll send you an address you can ship them to. Ed, check out TikTok. You can request free samples there. I think you have enough followers to do that, and if anybody else wants to donate a sign or anything like that, well, by all means do that. And if you need Ed's contact info, just reach out to him, or he's on TikTok and YouTube. So you can go reach out to him for that and send him a sign. Let's see, what time is it? 6:58. I wished I had a lot to talk about today, but I just, I woke up this morning and I was sitting having my first cup of coffee and I just drew a blank. And I was like, what in the world are we going to talk about today? And it's been kind of slow. So I was going to look. Let me see. There's one. So let me ask you this question. It's Tuesday. It's March the 24th. Easter's around the corner. But tell me, what's put this in the comments. What's one thing that you might be looking forward for today? I mean, is there something special happening? Something you're going to do? What are you looking forward to today? For me, it's always, it seems like here lately, every day has like 15 things that I want to go do or I want to start doing. And then sometimes it just like the day gets by and you look up and it's 5 o'clock and you're like, what did I get accomplished today? And I don't know if it's just me, but I'm one of those kind of people that at the end of every day, I kind of like look at myself. I'm like, what did you get accomplished today? And the days that I feel the best, getting the show truck out of so my wife can drive it to work tomorrow. Well, there you go. That's not a bad deal. You clean dog. So yeah, I'm kind of one of those people. I like projects, but I like to, by the end of the day, feel like I've accomplished something, even if it's just one thing. It doesn't have to be anything big. It just needs to be something that I feel like I've accomplished that day. And so, it could be something as simple as, I got my truck washed today and cleaned it all up. That was an accomplishment. I cleaned out the garage today. That was an accomplishment. I, finished moving all the stuff into the new office. That's an accomplishment. Things like that. Like yesterday, I wanted to go to Home Depot and pick up some lumber. My wife likes to garden and do different things, and she really needs a table that she can pot her plants on and stuff. And she's used 2 or 3 different things, but I'm going to actually make her one with casters so that she can roll it around and she doesn't have to get down on her knees or anything like that. Because I spend half my time getting stuff for her and being her right hand person while she's potting all her plants and vegetables and that type of stuff. In some parts of the country, it's not warm enough to do that yet. But in Texas, like I said, the next 7 days, the average temperature is going to be in the 90s. I think Saturday, they said we had a cold front and it was going to be 80 on Saturday, but then it bounces right back into the 90s. So I'm meeting with our high school reunion committee. Yeah, I know. High school reunions. Who doesn't like high school reunions? So I'll tell you a story about high school reunions. Because I went to different schools throughout growing up. I wasn't like some kids, they went to a school and they went to school with a group of kids and they follow those kids all through high school. I didn't have that choice. We moved around because my dad worked for the government and we lived in different parts of Texas. We never lived outside the state of Texas, but different areas, different school districts. And so I didn't go to school with the same group of people throughout, from elementary on. However, my wife and some of our close friends, they did. They went to school with kids from the time they were in elementary school all the way through high school and graduated together. And so they have class reunions. The last class reunion I went to was with the high school that I graduated from. People didn't even remember who I was because I was only there a year, one school year, because I graduated early. So yeah. So, and after that, I just stopped going. I mean, I there's a few friends that I graduated with that I keep up with, but I rarely go to the any of the class reunions because most of the people don't know me, and that group of people, they all went to school together from elementary on. So, but so I kind of got adopted into my wife's high school and elementary school friends and their reunions. So I always go to theirs, and yeah, they all I've known all of them for a long time now, and so I always feel welcome there. What is it? Ed, and just headed to the sales barn. Okay, that's good. Ed is recording a conversation for my podcast today. Former curator of the Museum of the Bible. Ah, okay, that might be interesting. Chris, have a great day. Be safe out there. Thank you, Ed. I'll see you tomorrow. It's 7:04. Lemon Lime. How's it going? It's going good. Bob 666. You look like my neighbor. I look like your neighbor. Well, that could be really good or not good. What do you think? I never know. I was like, is your neighbor is it a good person or not, or yeah, I knew Donna's already told me that yeah, we've got reservations for the class reunion. She's looking forward. When is it, Kim? What date is it on? I don't remember. I like your accent. Well, thanks, Lemon Lima. I appreciate that. Yeah. So is it in June? I think it's in June. I don't know. I can't remember. I just follow Donna's lead. If she says we're going and this is where we're going, I'm like, okay, here we go. Yeah. So tomorrow, today being Tuesday, I would say, go usually. So for me, Mondays were always like you have to kind of catch up from the weekend and to get your week started. And so yesterday was what I called Motivation Monday. So hopefully you found some motivation to make it through the Monday workday and got that done. Lemon Lime, thanks for the subscribe. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm not Aussie, Godzilla. No, I'm not. Born and raised in Texas. Yeah. You think I have an Aussie accent? Oh, Lemon. Okay, I'm sorry. I wasn't reading that correctly. Lemon, are you Aussie? No, I'm asking Lemon. I got it. I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention good enough. What makes you? I don't know if Lemon Lime's Aussie or not. Maybe she'll tell us. But anyway, Tuesdays has always been the day where you kind of jump in, and if you have a project going, that's the day you really take off. June 13th. That's not a Friday, is it? Is that a Friday the 13th? I don't have my. Let me look here. I don't have my calendar that far ahead, but I'm guessing it's June 13th. Might be a Saturday. Somebody was telling me we had two two June the 13th, or two Friday the 13th this year already. And I was like, wow, how about that? But anyway, Tuesday is always the day that I jump in. So today I think I'm going to try to get that. I've got some videos to make for some tools and some reviews. I do have a new giveaway coming, but I don't want to tell you what it is just yet. But it's, I think it's a pretty decent item that we're going to give away. And so that'll be coming up soon. So make sure that you come back and keep up with us because we are going to do another giveaway. And I'm thinking I'm going to probably announce that sometime next week and show the item that we're giving away. You got to come back. If you're not subscribed, subscribe so you don't miss out on all the giveaways. It's my way of, giving back to the audience for showing up at 6 a.m. every morning, weekdays, and jumping in the conversation. So, those are the kind of things that I try to do to give back. And it just depends because I am an affiliate. I do get different products from different companies to review. And so I always have to do that first. And then we can do the giveaways. And then the other thing that I always have to keep in mind is, some of these tools, they weigh quite a bit and shipping costs have really gotten nuts. So I have to be prepared for the worst that I only ship inside the United States. So unfortunately, if you're not from the US, I'll be trying out the Super Clean at work today. Good deal. Good deal. I did, I fix stuff all day, Jay. I did finally see that email that they had got that out to you. So hopefully they didn't drag their feet. I did send all that info to them. Matter of fact, I was using Super Clean just yesterday to clean my barbecue pit. It's springtime, so if you've never tried Super Clean, go check it out. There's lots of different places you can purchase it from. It's a degreaser, but I'm telling you, for outside, either your gas grill, your smoker, or anything like that, it works great. It keeps stuff clean. You don't even have to heat up anything. Matter of fact, it's recommended that you clean those grills and smokers and stuff when they're cold. You just spray it on, give it a minute or two, and you'll start to see the grease and stuff, the buildup on the outside of those. And then you just take a paper towel, wipe them dry, and they're clean. Of course, you've heard me say that you can use Super Clean for lots of different things. You can clean your shower if you have the foam and stuff, your bathtub, your sinks in the shop, oil spot in the concrete, on the shop floor, your clothes. So it's a pretty versatile degreaser, and I'm glad that you got that and let me know that came to you. And I think in the future we'll probably do another giveaway for Super Clean. Always just kind of move stuff around, but Super Clean's been really great. Here is a piece of news that came in yesterday from YouTube. I don't know. Tell me, does anybody or has anybody ever heard of a tool and or a company called Wallabout? Wallabout. What they do is they make a stud finder, and there's an app that goes with it. And and it's not just a stud finder. It will pick up and tell you if it's a 2x4 or 2x6 stud, if it's a metal stud, if it's a water line, if it's an electrical line, so that if you're trying to hang something or going to do anything on a wall, you make sure you're not going to hit any electrical or water or anything like that. Yeah, exactly, Pat. See, there you go, Patrick. Well, they've reached out to me and want me to do a brand deal with them, and probably, and this of course, I agreed to them, so they're going to reach out and we're going to have a meeting. So yeah, I had seen it before. But if you're an electrician, I could see where it could be really handy, depending on where you're at and what kind of stuff you're looking at. Like, maybe you're fixing to cut a hole in a sheetrock wall, and you're not sure if there's electrical behind it or a water pipe. So it works great and it's safe. See, there you go. Patrick, thank you for jumping in and telling that. Anyway, so I agreed to meet with them and discuss. And of course, these brand deals, I would get paid because they want me to do a video and share it. And so that's a good thing. Oh, wow. Well, Jason, that was a kind thing for them to do. Yeah, a homeless teenager. Mm. Well, I hope that works out for them, and we'll definitely do that. It's a great product. It's never let me down. It's dependable. It's adorable. And it would definitely be your best interest. Yeah, I think so too. So, like I said, I responded to them yesterday. It'd be my first brand deal on YouTube. And so I'm kind of excited about it, that it's not, and it's a company that I'd heard of before. That's always a deal. But they always ask you, like, how much are you going to charge me? And I'll be honest with you, most of the stuff that you see that I do, I'll show and I'll do a video, and I get to keep the product that they send me, and that's the end of that. But with brand deals, it works a little different. These are companies that they have specific guidelines that you need to meet, and a lot of times they're looking for a longer term commitment. Something that's not just do one video, here's a free product, see you down the road. And so hopefully, I can build up that kind of, those kind of connections, because the brand deals, they pay. How much do they pay? One of the questions they ask is, how much do you charge? And you're like, don't know. I've not ever done a brand deal before. Initially, and in their initial contact, they are going to give me a free the product free, so that I can use it and demo it and use it in a video, and that's good. But one of the things that I always find with products, and unfortunately a lot of these companies, they're like, here's a product and you got 12 days to post a video. Well, sometimes, and it depends what it is, but sometimes products, for me, I need to use them a little bit. And maybe if I get a product, I don't have anything I'm going to use that tool for today or tomorrow, or maybe not even in 12 days. I don't know. And so sometimes I feel like I have to make a video so that I can meet the criteria and the time frame. But then a lot of times I go back after I've used the tool, and the second video is a lot better. I feel like I do better videos when with tools that I've used, and I see how they perform, and whether they are something that I would continue to use or not. Like the 1/2-inch impact. I haven't used it much, but I did use it yesterday to install. I had some like 4-inch wood screws, and I was putting something together, and it worked really well. And it's very, like I said, it's a brushless tool. I just thought it was brilliant that you could have a 1/2 inch impact that you could use as a 1/4 inch impact driver. You could, with the right adapters, you can run 3/8 and 1/4 inch sockets off of it. So you could actually have one tool and do a lot of different things. And that's kind of a good thing because, if you're taking your tools on a job site, if you got one tool that does 4 or 5 things for you so that you don't have to have a 1/4 inch impact driver, a 1/2 inch driver, a drill, you got 3 or 4 tools. If you can get one tool that does all of those things for you, it really helps. What I do is make a mock wall and put a pipe, wire, and different things behind it and show how it works. Patrick, that's a great idea. Crazy 13, how's it going, girl? So anyway, I'll kind of keep everybody up to date. So Patrick, auto tuner. Patrick, do you make content on YouTube? Just out of curiosity, I mean, or have you done stuff for Wallabout? No, I don't. Okay. But that's a great idea. Set up a mock wall and put some of that stuff behind it. Yeah. Thank you for that idea. That's great. And see, that's the kind of stuff that when you're going to do a video, that stuff takes time. You got to get the materials. You got to put a wall together. And see how, and I want to be able to test it and see what scenarios that it's really beneficial in. And a lot of people, so you're electrician, Atlantic City, New Jersey. Okay. The Golden Nugget Casino. All right. Also own a detailing business and a commercial cleaning company. Wow, Patrick. You 3 2 10. I'm a Shreveport police officer getting off the graveyard. Thank you for joining us this morning. Yep, my dad was a law enforcement officer for 40-something years. So, yeah. So, was it 3_2? Man, be careful out there. That's a tough job you have. And especially if you work the graveyard. Well, I mean, any shift as a police officer can be dangerous. But I have a ton of respect for law enforcement. They have a very tough job, and I've been around it enough to know that it can be, really boring at times, but it can also be, things can change in an instant. I've seen traffic stops go from being very calm, and even if the person's asked to get out of the car, and the conversation's calm, and they just snap, and when they do, the fight's on. And a lot of times, of course, I used to ride with a lot of the sheriffs in the area, and we were out in the country, and so they, police officers, even in cities now, they don't ride two to a car. They're in a car by themselves most of the time, and so you can call backup, but if you're in the middle of a fist fight with somebody, you're not going to be calling backup. You're going to have your hands full. So all I would say, I don't know your first name, but definitely stay safe out there, and thank you for what you do. I appreciate that. I'm working on my own extroversion audible. Dude, Patrick, you are just an entrepreneur. And I have a ton of respect for people who are entrepreneurs, because they just get involved in all kinds of stuff, and usually they're really creative. Yeah, me too. I tell people all the time, if you ever, I have two young granddaughters, and of course, they knew their grandfather. Their great grandfather was a police officer, and we have some other people in the family who work in law enforcement. So they all understand that. Look, the worst thing you're going to get is a ticket, right? So behave. Don't be dumb. Roll the window down, turn the lights on inside the car, get your paperwork ready, and that's the end of that. It's not a big deal. And be polite. And a lot of times they'll just check stuff out. You may or may not get a ticket. If you were speeding and you get a ticket, okay, you were speeding, but it's not the end of the world. And nothing bad's going to happen to you. Police. Traffic stops for police officers are probably one of the most dangerous things. There's two things that are really dangerous. One, traffic stops, because you never know who you're stopping and what could happen. And two are domestic calls. If you ever get called out on a domestic, those can get really ugly and out of hand too. So just some experience there. But yeah, so I always have a lot of respect for police officers and what they do. And, I just, like I've said a bunch of times, look, police officers are just like all the rest of us. And when they get ready to go to work, the one thing that's on their mind is they want to come home safe to their family. They're just like you. When they get off, they want to go home, and they want to know that, okay, I made it through another day. They're not going out there thinking about, okay, who am I going to get to rough up tonight, or who am I going to shoot, or you think I'm going to get to pull my gun? They don't want to ever have to do that. And so, and there's really good police officers, and they're just like in any other job. You have really good employees and some that maybe are not so good. So anyway, but Patrick, it sounds like you got it down, dude. Thanks for joining the show this morning, and the insight on the wallabout. I'm excited about that brand deal, and I kind of left the what am I going to charge them? I don't know. I don't want to be stupid and give away my service, because my time is worth something. But at the same time, if you can find a company that gives you that brand connect, Lever 57, thanks for the follow, man. I appreciate that. The house. I need a brad nailer for the house just for trim and baseboard, and I'd like a battery platform. So I have a Ryobi brad nailer I really like, and I use it a lot. You'd be surprised what you can use a brad nailer for. You see all this cedar here behind me? Brad nailer, 18 gauge brad nailer, Ryobi. If that's the tool line you have. If you don't have any specific tool line, and depending on how much money you want to spend on a cordless brad nailer, I can tell you this: you might not have a air compressor, but if you did have an air compressor, any kind, just even a small one, because it doesn't take a lot of air pressure for a brad nailer. There's two things that I would consider and two things that I would change. If you can, find a brad nailer that not only shoots 18 gauge brad nails, but also will shoot crown molding staples. What I found, depending on, and like you're talking about shooting baseboard, you may not want to use staples. I don't know. I've used both. I like the brad nailer because it doesn't leave a big hole. And if you're doing baseboard and it's someplace where it really needs to look nice, I'd definitely stick with the 18 gauge brad nailer. But in some instances, staples, they make a staple that's about not quite 2 inches long. I think it's like 1 5/8 inches. and they work really well. And you're thinking, wow, a real wide staple? No, those staples are pretty narrow, so you don't see them. But if you can afford it, get a brad nailer that does brad nails and staples. That way you got one gun that does two things, and I think you'll be happy with both. If you had a air compressor and you don't mind having a long hose on it, then you could save yourself a ton of money by buying a brad nailer. I mean, some of those brad nailers that you can connect to an air compressor, you know, you can get those for 30, 40 bucks, and they're fine. I bought I think a Win is one I bought, and I think I paid 25 bucks for it at Home Depot. Now, they're a little more expensive now. I've had it a few years, but I've never had any issues with it. It's a great brad nailer. You just have to connect it to an air compressor. If you absolutely do not want that and you want to stick with cordless, depending on how much money you want to spend, you know, there's a lot of different brands out there that make 18 gauge brad nailers. Craftsman makes one, Cobalt, Ryobi. I mean, just about every manufacturer you want. I can only tell you I have a Ryobi, but I have that line of tools. So I already had the batteries, and I caught the nail gun, but they're handy. I'll be the first one to tell you that. But Milwaukee makes a really good one. Of course, you're going to pay a lot more money for it. So think about all of that when you're thinking about what you're going to buy. And then you know, there's some off brands out there that maybe you had never heard of that, you know, if you're just doing a job, you know, consider saving some of your money, but take that into consideration when you're buying an 18 gauge brad nailer. If you can buy one that does the 18 gauge brad nails and staples, and they'll call it like a crown molding staples, because that gives you the longer ones. Those guns are pretty dang handy, and they can be used for a lot of stuff. So that would be my that would be my recommendation if I was looking for one of those. Thanks for asking. I appreciate that. And thanks for the follow too. Patrick, you see people, they don't put their window down. Yeah. Yeah, you know, a lot of people don't roll the window down. I mean, they make a lot of common mistakes, and maybe it's just because you know, no one's ever told them, hey man, do it like this. Behave. Don't be an idiot. Don't do anything that, you know, makes the officer nervous. I mean, you gotta figure, if you get stopped and maybe you're speeding, you know, maybe you have just a tail light, you know, I don't know, maybe you didn't use your blinker, but for whatever reason that you're ever stopped in a traffic stop, don't make it worse. Was it this, that, 12, breaking news, Muslims are holding emergency meeting. They are concerned that they're no, oh man, come on. Amanda, good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. Hey, if you're new here, let me know where you're from. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps. I'm trying to get to that 10K. I was talking to Patrick about Patrick, if you're still there, about Wallabout, which is looking like it might be my first brand deal with a company on YouTube. So hopefully that I get that all worked out. We were talking about, you know, what do you charge for that, something like that, and you know, of course, I Google it and look, and you get all kinds of ranges from, you know, $100 to thousands of dollars. And, you know, I want to be fair. I don't want to work for free, but at the same time, I want to be fair. And a lot of times when you're learning how to do and handle brand deals, then, you know, you don't want to think that you're a movie star or something and charge those exorbitant rates where people are like, yeah, man, that guy's nuts. I'm not going to give him that opportunity. And so, you know, when you're still kind of learning and maybe you've never done a brand deal, which I haven't ever done a quote brand deal. They're a little bit different than just some company saying, "Hey, we're going to send you a free sample. Will you do a video and post it for us?" That's a little different. Brand deals, they have some more stuff, and you're actually signing a legal agreement allowing them to use your video in their advertisement. So that alone is worth something. Plus, they're going to supply a free product, and it's a product that I really like. I've never used it, but I know people that have used it and they really like it. And so I can see where it'll be something that will be easy to talk about. So if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, tap on the little hearts. That's always fun to do. It's 7:34. Thank you for joining me this morning for Morning Coffee Talk Live with Dave. I'm here weekdays at 6 a.m. So please come back. Again, thank you for all the support and joining and engagement and great questions. Patrick, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And come back. Patrick's out of Atlantic City, New Jersey. He looks like he's an independent business person. He works for a casino there in Atlantic City as an electrician, but he has some side gigs too. And he had some good insight on the Wallabout, and he really likes it and thinks it's a good product too. And so that's always good to hear. What is this? Oh yeah. Chuck Norris did pass away a couple of days ago. Was this that? Or there in the afterlife since Chuck Norris arrived? Yeah, really. Come on. That's I get it. Oh, that's too funny. Anyway, thank you everybody for joining me this morning at 7:35. Have a wonderful day. Let me make sure, Roy Vowels. Why are your eyes so close together? I don't know. I guess I was just born that way, Roy. Why would you ask such a strange question? I don't know. Anyway, thanks for joining me for Morning Coffee Talk Live. We're here weekdays, 6 a.m. Come back tomorrow, bring your conversation, grab a cup of coffee, and join the coffee crew here. And we'll start out tomorrow, Wednesday. Wednesday's hump day, and see how we get through that day. Stay safe. Go do something kind for somebody. Your act of kindness goes a long way, and you never know how it's going to affect someone. So until tomorrow, stay safe. Have a great day, and I'll see you back here at 6 a.m. Thank you for all your support. I really appreciate it.